And you know what's strange? People spend their whole lives running forward, chasing time like it owes them something. Faster, older, wiser, stronger, always trying to get somewhere they've never been, never stopping to ask if any of it actually mattered. And then, imagine this. One day you wake up and everything's different. Not slower, not ending, no, going backward. Not by mistake, not by science, but by something else, something bigger, something that looks at you with all your regrets, your broken dreams, your too lates, and says, let's try that again. Most people treat time like a thief, like it breaks into your life, takes your youth, your energy, your chances, and slips out the back door while you're too distracted to notice. And once it's gone, that's it. Game over. Move on. Pretend you never had dreams that slipped through your fingers while the world clapped for your maturity. But what if time didn't steal from you? What if it was just holding on to something, keeping it safe until you were actually ready for it? Not ready in the way the world measures, no suit, no savings, no structure, but ready in your soul, in that deep, buried place that's tired of pretending it's too late. People walk around like clocks with broken hands, ticking but not moving. Their bodies grow old, but their minds stay trapped in regrets, memories, the what-ifs that eat them alive when the lights go out. They think they've missed it, the moment, the magic, the version of themselves they were supposed to be before life carved its initials into their skin. But here's the twist. Time doesn't move in straight lines. Not when something bigger gets involved. Not when a voice beyond logic says, let's rewind. Not to erase you, no. To remind you of who you were, of what you still are, of everything the world said you were too late for. And suddenly it's not about the years you lost. It's about the years coming back to find you. Like old friends you thought were dead, knocking on your door in the middle of the night, grinning like they've got unfinished business. Time doesn't just march forward. Sometimes it circles, loops, returns. You thought the wrinkles meant the end. You thought the heaviness in your bones was a farewell, but maybe it was the weight of something coming back. Not memories, momentum. You see, when time returns, it doesn't give you everything at once. Oh no, it's smarter than that. It gives you pieces, flashes, a spark in your eyes you haven't seen in decades, a fire in your gut you thought had been drowned years ago. It gives you a voice again, not the tired voice that says, I'm too old, but the wild one that says, watch me. The world tells you to move on, get over it, accept it, age gracefully, they say. But what's graceful about giving up? What's noble about surrendering to a clock that was never in your control to begin with? Maybe grace isn't in the letting go. Maybe grace is in the getting back. Time doesn't belong to you, sure, but maybe, just maybe, you belong to it, and now it's claiming you. Not the broken you, not the exhausted version that's been surviving, but the one that was interrupted, the one that still has something to say, something to build, something to become. You thought it was over, that the credits were about to roll, but time doesn't care about your deadlines. It laughs at your calendars. It watches your little routines and thinks, how cute. They still believe they know what's next. And then it rewinds, slowly, deliberately. Because sometimes the only way forward is back. Back to the you who dared, the you who dreamed recklessly, the you who hadn't been shaped by shame, fear, and obligation. That version isn't gone. It's just been waiting. And when time decides to return what it once held, your strength, your boldness, your joy, it doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't care if you feel worthy. It simply gives. And now, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, it's here. See, most people hear the word reversal and think it's a reset button, a clean slate, a magic trick that makes all the mess disappear. Like life's just going to pretend the damage never happened. But that's not how this works. Oh no. It's not about erasing the past. It's about redeeming it, bringing it to the table and daring it to speak. Redemption doesn't mean pretending you were never broken. It means staring into the cracks and saying, I see you, but you don't own me anymore. It means taking everything you buried, the shame, the loss, the missed chances, and dragging it back into the light, not to relive it, not to repeat it, but to rewrite what it meant. You see, the reversal isn't for your comfort, it's for your confrontation. It's not here to hold your hand. It's here to make you look at the moments you wish you could forget and redeem them by becoming someone who understands them now, someone who survived them. Someone who isn't trying to escape their past, but transform it. You ever think about how many people wish they could go back and change one thing, one decision, one conversation, one version of themselves that fell short, but what they really want isn't the past. They want peace with it. They want to stand where they once failed and say, I'm not that scared anymore. Redemption is messy. It doesn't come gift-wrapped. It shows up with a shovel, digging through everything you buried and asking you to pick it up again, not to carry it like a weight, but to carry it like a weapon, like proof that what was once your weakness is now your reason. You're not going back to repeat the same chapters. You're going back because this time you're not the same reader. You've seen too much, lost too much, learned too much, and now you've got the chance to walk through the same doors with different eyes, the same life, but this time awake. Redemption doesn't erase the scars, it makes them mean something. Every fall you took becomes a map. Every betrayal becomes fuel. Every time you gave up becomes the reason you don't this time. That's the beauty of reversal. Not that it changes what happened, but that it changes you. You're not here to copy the past. You're here to confront it, face it like a mirror, one you finally have the guts to look into. And when you do, you don't see the same scared version staring back. You see someone capable, someone with teeth, someone who's not asking permission anymore. The joke is, life doesn't want you to forget. It wants you to remember better, to take the worst things that ever happened to you and hold them like tools, like keys to a door you were never supposed to open before. But now? Now you can. Now you have to. Repetition is what happens when you refuse to grow. Redemption is what happens when you refuse to stay the same. And that's what this reversal is offering. Not a do-over, but a do different. A chance to take the same canvas and paint something honest, something real, something that doesn't need to hide behind excuses. So don't expect comfort, Don't expect a replay of the good times. Expect a spotlight, a raw, burning light that finds all the places inside you that were left unfinished and gives you the choice to finish them. Not because you deserve it, not because you earned it, but because the moment came back around, and this time it found you ready. People treat youth like it's some golden age that slips through your fingers while you're too busy making plans. They talk about it like it's a photo album, snapshots, moments, stories they tell to feel alive again. Ah, remember when we used to dream? Remember when anything felt possible? It's always in past tense, always locked behind some imaginary door labeled too late. But what if that door just opened again? What if youth wasn't something you lost, but something that returns? Not to entertain you, not to indulge you, but to demand something from you. See, youth isn't about age. It's not about the skin or the smile or the speed of your step. It's about fire. That raw, irrational belief that you can change something, that this world hasn't seen the best of you yet. People think youth is freedom, no rules, no weight, but real youth, sacred youth, is purpose. It's messy, it's hungry, it burns hot, it doesn't sit still, and now you're being handed that fire again. Not as a toy, as a torch. The mission isn't to feel young. The mission is to become what you never finished. That dream you tucked away when life started shouting louder than your hope, it's back. It's banging on the walls of your chest. And no, it's not too late. No, you're not too old. That was the lie. The truth is that youth was never supposed to vanish. It was just waiting for you to be strong enough to carry it right. Because when you're young and foolish, you dream big, but you don't know what it costs. And when you're older, you know the costs, so you stop dreaming. But now you've got both. The fire and the wisdom, the wound and the will. That's not just youth. That's dangerous youth, the kind that doesn't ask for permission any. So no, your youth isn't a flashback, it's a forward call, a mission briefing, a reminder that you didn't survive everything just to sit and watch the world happen without you. You didn't endure just to fade into the background while your potential rots in a journal somewhere. You ever notice how regret always sounds like I could've or I almost? That's the voice of youth unfulfilled. But now you've got the chance to answer it, to walk into the same battlefield, this time with experience, with scars, with clarity. Your youth isn't here to play games. It's not here for nostalgia. It's here to finish the work, to pick up where you dropped the pen, to write the chapter you swore you'd get back to but never did. And this time there are no excuses, no distractions, just you and the mission. The mission is to build, to risk, to run, not away from time, but into it, knowing it's not running out, knowing it's running with you. You've been given something wild, something rare, a second ignition, a second wave, not a second childhood, a second charge. So what do you do with that? Do you sit back and watch it fade again, or do you grab it by the throat and say, this time we finish what we started? Youth has returned, not to remind you of who you were, but to reveal who you still are. Under the tired face, beneath the disappointments, behind every reason you gave yourself to quit, that spark never left. It just needed the right moment to explode again. And guess what? That moment is now. The mission isn't about going backward. It's about going deeper, stronger, louder. You don't get this fire twice unless you were meant to do something with it, something that echoes, something that matters. That's the twist they don't tell you. Everybody hears about going back and they think it's some kind of escape hatch, a loophole, a way to dodge the consequences, erase the pain, slip away from the wreckage without facing the fire. But no, this isn't a getaway car. This is a return trip. Not to run from the past, to rewrite it. See, the past doesn't just sit there collecting dust. It haunts. It hums underneath every decision you make now, every fear, every hesitation. You call it caution, call it wisdom, but it's really just the ghost of something unfinished, circling, waiting, watching. And now the door to back then has cracked open. Not because you begged for it, but because something bigger decided you're finally ready to look it in the eye. You're not being dragged backward. You're being called back. Called to face the version of yourself you abandoned. The one who had a voice but swallow it. The one who had a choice but froze. The one who stood at a crossroad and said, maybe next time. And let's get one thing straight. Correction doesn't mean regret. It doesn't mean shame. It means awareness. The kind that burns when it touches you. The kind that stares through the cracks in your smile and says, that wasn't the end of your story, that was the setup. You think you buried that moment, but moments like that don't die. They hibernate. They sit and wait, growing teeth, waiting to see if you ever come back strong enough to finish the sentence you were too scared to say. And now you're here, not to relive the pain, but to reclaim the pain. It's not about fixing the past. You can't change what happened, but you can change what it meant. That's the real correction. Not undoing the fall, but standing where you once collapsed and proving you're not the same anymore. The world told you to forget it, to move on, to smile and act like time erases damage. But you know better. You know healing doesn't come from walking away. It comes from walking back in. Looking that pain in the face and saying, you don't scare me anymore. Correction is power. It's when the victim becomes the author. It's when the silence becomes a scream. It's when the kid who didn't know how to fight finally throws a punch. And not just any punch, the kind that shakes the floor. The kind that says, I remember what you did to me, and I'm still standing. The past isn't just there to hurt you, it's there to shape you. But only if you're brave enough to go back and tell it, we're doing this again, but this time, I'm different. And trust me, different is what matters. The world's full of people repeating the same cycle, trapped in the same loops, making the same choices, and blaming the same ghosts. But not you. Not now. This time you know the path. You know the traps. You know where the light used to go out, and you're walking in with your own flame. You're not here to change the outcome. You're here to change the impact, the way it lands, the way it lives in your bones, the way it echoes in the choices you make now. And when you correct something that deep, it doesn't just change your story, it changes everything around you. Because when one person goes back and rewrites the narrative, they don't just heal themselves, they break a pattern. They flip a script that's been passed down like a curse. And that's what you're here for. Not to escape, but to interrupt, to stand in the same place and finally get it right. People talk about second chances like they're handouts, like the universe is some kind of polite school teacher handing out makeup tests and saying, "Try again, sweetie." But that's not how this works. Second chances? They're not sequels. They're setups. Not because you missed the first shot, but because the first one was never yours to begin with. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right you. You were half alive back then. You were trying to fit into a version of life that didn't have space for your fire, your truth, your chaos. You were told to smile, play nice, follow the script, and so you did, but now the script's been burned. The mask's cracked. And what's left is something a little more honest, a little more dangerous, and a lot more ready. The right chance doesn't show up when you're safe. It shows up when you've been broken, patched back together with the sharp edges still visible. Because only then do you stop caring about playing it safe. Only then do you stop looking for approval and start looking for impact. This isn't the universe saying, "Oops, let's fix that." This is the universe saying now. Not because it owes you anything, but because it trusts you with something. And trust, that's heavier than opportunity. This isn't a reward. It's a response. Do you ever wonder why the first time didn't work out? Why everything felt so close but somehow still fell apart? It wasn't because you weren't good enough. It was because you weren't you enough. You were deluded, distracted, trying to be something you're not because you thought that's what was required. But the right chance? It doesn't want the version you created to be accepted. It wants the version you buried to breathe. The right chance shows up when you're tired of pretending, when the filter's off, when the voice inside finally gets louder than the noise outside. It waits, it watches. It doesn't knock until you're done chasing things that don't see you. It waits for the moment when you finally see yourself. Second chances are for apologies. The right chance is for revenge. Not against others, against every lie you were told about your worth. Against every whisper that said you missed it, it's over, sit down. No, this chance isn't an apology. It's a response, a declaration that you're not just still here, you're activated. People think destiny is linear. Step 1, step 2, success, but it's not. It's a loop, a pattern. And when the loop comes back around, it doesn't mean you failed. It means this is the moment it was always meant for. The fire you have now, the vision, the pain, the hunger, the blood under your fingernails, that's what the mission needed, not your innocence, your intensity. And yeah, it's tempting to see this as redemption, as some kind of cosmic apology for what you went through. But don't mistake it. This isn't the universe saying sorry. This is the universe saying, show me. Show me who you became. Show me why you survived. Show me why it had to hurt that bad just to build you this strong. This chance isn't lucky. It's earned. Not by perfection, but by persistence. By refusing to disappear when it would have been easier to. By standing up one more time after everything in you said, stay down. That's why it's right. Not because it's easy, because it's real. You're not being offered a redo. You're being offered a reveal. This is the unveiling of the you that was never meant to be quiet, of the path that was never meant to be straight, of the story that was never meant to be safe. This time, it's not about proving anything to anyone. It's not about applause. It's about alignment. This is what it looks like when purpose and pain shake hands, when timing and truth lock eyes, when all the pieces finally stop spinning and land. They told you time only moves one way, forward, relentless, unforgiving. They said once a moment's gone, it's gone. That what's done is done. That the past is a graveyard, not a garden. But what if they were wrong? What if time isn't a straight line but a circle, and it just came back around to you? This isn't just some fantasy about going back. This is about reclaiming the power you gave away. You didn't lose it. You traded it. Traded it for safety, for silence, for the approval of people who couldn't see you, didn't deserve you, and still somehow made you feel like you were too much or not enough, depending on the day. So you folded, you shrank, you forgot that time doesn't own you. You are time. Because when the clock starts spinning in reverse, it doesn't erase what happened. It reminds you who you were before the noise got loud, before life knocked the fire out of you and told you to sit down, keep your head down, don't make trouble. But that fire, it never left. It just smoldered, waiting, plotting, growing teeth. See, most people use age as an excuse. Too late, too tired, too broken. But you're not aging backwards to feel young again. You're aging backwards because life just handed you a loaded question. What would you do if you And memory is a dangerous thing. It doesn't just bring back moments. It brings back motives. It brings back the version of you that wasn't afraid to dream so big it made people uncomfortable. The version of you that wanted more and wasn't ashamed of it. The version that didn't apologize for shining too bright or speaking too loud or loving too hard. That version didn't die, it just got buried under other people's expectation. And now it's clawing its way out. This isn't about defying time. It's about redefining it. You don't measure life by birthdays or gray hairs or how many candles you blow out. You measure it by impact. And impact doesn't follow the calendar. Impact shows up when you finally stop waiting and start claiming. They'll say it's impossible, that this kind of awakening can't happen, that once you reach a certain point, your story is already written. But what they don't understand is some people write their prologue in blood, not ink. Some people start when everyone else thinks they should be done. You were never meant to peak early. You were never meant to follow the chart. You were meant to interrupt the system. Bend the rules, laugh in the face of the clock and say, you work for me now. That's what reversal means, not going back in time. Dragging time forward into your story. So now here you are, not younger in body, but in force, in focus, in fire. And this kind of fire, it burns clean. It doesn't ask, it demands. It demands that you stop pretending, that you stop waiting for permission. That you stop making excuses for why the life you wanted has to stay locked behind some glass called what could have been. You know what's on the other side of reversed time? Not fantasy, not nostalgia, responsibility. The kind that says, if you're bold enough to step into this again, you better be dangerous enough to do something with it. No more playing small. No more shrinking to fit inside rooms that were never built to hold you. They wanted you to forget. But you didn't. You remembered who you were before the fear, before the failure, before the disappointment got loud enough to drown out your calling. And now, that calling isn't whispering anymore, it's screaming. It's ripping off the calendar. It's smashing the hourglass. You think this is about getting time back? No, it's about becoming time. Becoming the moment. Becoming the reckoning. You're not moving through life anymore. Life's moving through you. And if time dares to come back for you, it's not because it pities you. It's because it knows you've got unfinished business.